Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to our course on Excel for Business Analytics and Data Analytics. Today we are actually going to start our second section, which is on editing and formatting in Excel. And the first topic that we're going to cover under this is actually data entry in Excel. I hope that the course you've actually found it to be useful, up till this far. And in this lecture, we are going to go through some quick ways of actually inputting data accurately into your Excel sheets, because Excel is primarily for numbers, and you need to have certain shortcuts available to actually make your life easier once you're actually dealing with data. So in order to actually look at those examples, let's actually quickly move to one of the Excel sheets that I've sorted out together. Okay, the first thing that I want to talk about is the decimal numbers and how to actually set up Excel in order to give a specific number of decimal points after if you input a particular value. So let's assume that you work for an accounting firm or a place where data or number crunching is done a lot, and you have to actually use Excel or input data into Excel very frequently. So you can actually instead of having to format all the data to your desired number of decimal numbers or decimal points, you can actually set up Excel in such a way that whenever you put in a number, Excel would actually bifurcate that number into the desired decimal places. So how would you do that? I mean, the best way to show you guys that is actually by showing you an example. You can actually set up Excel, to do that by going into File and then into Options. And in Options, you need to go into Advanced, and over here this should have been unchecked, but this is usually unchecked. You have to check this option up, which is under Editing Options, and the option is Automatically Insert a Decimal Point. Then just tell Excel that how many decimal points do you want to insert. In my case, it's going to be 2. And once I press OK, this is ready to use. So let's assume that I put in 100. So it's going to convert that into 1. So what is Excel doing over here? It's actually using the 2 digits after 1 and putting them actually after the decimal. So another example of that is if you put in 2500, Excel is actually going to convert this into 25. So that means it's actually taking 2500 as 25.00. Let's take another number, 3563. Now Excel is actually going to convert this 3563 into 35.63. So the idea over here is that if you work with a lot of decimal numbers, and you don't want to actually you don't want to go through the pain of 25.98 you just put in the number, the whole number, and it actually bifurcates the number into the exact decimal form that you wanted to. You can actually increase the number of decimal places as well by actually going back to Advanced and actually setting it up to more than 2. You can set it up to 3. You can set it up to 4. So this is a quick, short way of actually making your life a lot easier once you are actually dealing with numbers or managing numbers in Excel. All right, moving on. You can also actually do quick fills of Excel. You can actually do quick fills of the data that you have in Excel by simply pressing Control D. Yes. So there are 2 sort of fills, and the first fill is that let's assume that you have a certain field, and above that field is actually a formula. So if you do a Control D, what the system is actually going to do, or Excel is going to do, is it's actually going to copy the formula from the field above where you're operating and actually paste that formula in that field, in the selected field. So over here, if you look at my field right now, where I am right now, there's a formula working over there which says multiply G9 with H10. So if I go ahead and do Alt D, sorry about that, Control D, in the next field, it's actually going to copy the exact formula, but it's actually going to use the new values, which are in the columns. So this is actually a quick way of copying the cells that are above you and utilizing the formatting or utilizing the formulas that are being used one by one, instead of having to mass change them. If I go ahead and do this on a column where there are no live formulas working, it's simply going to copy and paste the value that is above my current cell of operation. So again, a quick way of actually managing data or copying formulas in Excel, instead of having to mass change them by dragging and dropping columns and formulas. Moving on to the next quick way of actually entering data into Excel. This is something that we did cover in one of our last lectures as well, that how to enter the date real quickly. But I'm actually just going to repeat this again. And the way to do that is to press Control Shift and then press. In fact, sorry, you have to just press Control and colon. So once you do that, it actually enters the current date. So you can see over here, this is actually the current date, the accurate date. If you look at my system tray, this is actually the exact date of today. You can actually also press Control Shift and semicolon in order to actually put in the current time. This is something also we covered in one of our last lectures, but again I'll just repeat it over here. This is a refresher. So moving on to our next example over here, I would actually like you to understand how to set up data filters or quick filters. And I mean, whenever you're actually managing data sets or large data sets in Excel, there can come a time when you would be required to look at specific components or specific portions of the data set, or look at specific characteristics of the data set. And the easiest way to do that is to actually set up Excel filters, which actually allow you access to that specific component, and then you can actually separate that component out and look at it in isolation. You can set up the filters by actually going into the Home tab over here and then actually selecting the filter from over here. But actually a quicker way to do that is just simply to select the headers of whatever table that you want the filters to work on, and then simply press Alt D F and F. And okay, that didn't work. Yeah, so once this combination is actually pressed correctly, you can see that the filters actually get activated, and you can then simply use these filters to filter out your data in any way you want to. I'll actually repeat this once again. So you just select the headers of the data or the table that you want the filters to work on, then press Alt B F and F, and the filters would actually get activated. So a quick way to actually move in and out of your data. All right, moving forward to our next example of forms. So what are forms? Forms are actually a structured way for anyone who is actually performing some sort of a manual entry job to collect information in a structured way onto your Excel file. And why is this important? So, as a data analyst, there might be, several instances where you would be required to put in information onto an Excel file from a manual source. So once you are actually doing this repetitive task, due to boredom or fatigue, you can, end up making a lot of mistakes. Forms are actually an easy way of ensuring that that does not happen. Furthermore, let me give you an example as to where forms can be really useful. Let's assume that you are running an event management company or work for an event management company, and you want to collect the information the first name, the last name, the email address, the phone number, the CNAC, and the home address of the people who are actually coming into uh, that hall or wherever you are actually, organizing that event. Now, one way to actually collect all this information would be to, just have an just have a manual piece of paper, where those people actually fill in all the information, or all the participants fill in that information. Another way to actually quickly get that information and avoid the hassle of having to transfer all that manual data onto Excel file. You can just simply create a form and put the computer in front of the participants and ask them to put in their information directly. And once they do that, that information is actually going to get recorded onto the Excel sheet that you're maintaining automatically. So let's go ahead and do that. You cannot access forms directly from these given options right now, but you can activate it by going into the ribbon, or the customized ribbon option over here. In the customized ribbon option, you need to select all commands and then go to forms, or just select F and then find form, which is over here at the bottom. Right now you cannot add forms into your ribbon. In order to do that, you need to create a new tab. So let's just create that, and then under that tab there is a new group where you can actually add this form option. Once you go ahead and click OK, you would see that this miscellaneous tab is available now over here. So how to activate the form? So let's say that these are the headers that you want inside the form. Just simply select them and then press the form button. It's going to give you a prompt. You can actually ignore that and then press OK. So over here you see that you have the data entry form available with you, and using this you can real quickly put in all the information without any particular hassle. Once you press OK, it refreshes the form for a fresh entry and actually puts in whatever you entered last time over here in the Excel file. You can actually see another example right quickly. So this was a quick way of actually recording all your information, and some quick ways of entering data into your Excel sheet. See you in the next lecture. Assalamu alaikum.